guys, it's Ash and P.
Oh my gosh. Hi. Hello.
I'm a little bit of a stickler. A stickler. A stickler. There's that word. Pickle.
You're a strict stickler.
Strict stickler.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, did I just step in his piss? That's what I'm thinking, right? Hey guys, it's Ash and P.
No. We're back.
Yeah. Yep. That one. Good thing you can slice. Good thing you can slice. Oh my gosh.
Music is by Dust Bowl Champion. To hear Dust Bowl Champion's newest hits, search Dust Bowl Champion on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your music. Hey guys, it's Ash and P.
Hey, did you forget who you were?
Yeah, I did. Better than the question I asked you before we started, there's all that.
I know.
I was just going to adjust my mic and I was like, oh, it kind of messed me up is all.
Ashley goes, what do you call it when you are like trying something out? Like a program out? I'm like, trial?
After a certain time, my brain stops functioning properly. So it's not my fault. The other night, it's actually quite sad. So for those of you listening that don't know, I have back issues. I have nerve issues where I feel like I want to rip my leg off. So it will make me not sleep at night. So I have to take a medication so that it's a nerve blocker essentially that I take, but it's like a neurological thing, and so it messes with my brain, and I start to kind of sound like I'm drunk or like I'm real tired. Words
Sure,
don't come to
blame the
me
pill.
easily.
Blame the pill.
It is normally around 7 o'clock, and we're recording at 7:26. It's 7:26 right now.
Oh,
So I might be a little loopy and weird. I feel pretty good, but it's the reason I was saying it's sad is that Hayden the other day he came into my room and I was just tired, but it was pretty early on in the day. But I was like on my bed doing some stuff and I was like looking at him, but I must have been looking at him like with really tired eyes. He's like, "Mom, it's okay if your medication has kicked in." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, my kids." I mean, I don't want them to think that I'm like drunk or something. So I guess it's good that they know that my medication messes with me, but I'm like, it's not that. I'm really tired right now. Okay. I just need to sleep.
okay, I know. Like, are you sleeping at night? What is going on? Because I see emails come through at like 3 in the morning. I see things come in at like 11 o'clock at night. I see like random times. I'm like, is this bitch sleeping at all?
So I am. That was just last night because last night, it might have actually been last night that Hayden was like, "Mom, it's okay if your medicine is kicking in," because I was in my bed and I was editing and I kept falling asleep. So what happened was I would like wake up and I'm like, okay, and I would start doing it. Well, I ended up falling asleep for a good chunk of time. And then I woke up at like 3 something and I was like, oh shoot. The thing is I wanted to make sure you had those things today, like throughout the day if you needed them at all. And so, yeah, I was like, oh gosh, I had to finish editing those and get
Oh
them
my
saved.
gosh, you're
So
so crazy.
I know
I
sometimes I
know.
just can't stay awake,
Well,
like I don't know.
well, I was like, okay, this is like my wake up time.
Yeah. Yes, I know. Which I was I was thinking about that when I was doing it. I was like, Priscilla is about ready to wake up and start working out.
I feel like for the first time, maybe ever, but I'll say in a long time, you and I are on the exact same page when it's like both of us have to be in this point right now, which I think comes and goes with maybe with people in general, but where there is literally not enough hours in the day to get
Yeah.
everything done. And that's how I feel lately.
Yeah. Well, you've had a lot going on. Um you're in the middle of planning your wedding. Um,
which
you're
I'm so behind because I feel like I'm behind on so many things. And so today was a day. It was so, I don't even know where the day, like how it came out the way it did. I have no idea.
what was going on? Is it
Okay,
wedding stuff or is it everything?
so it's a little bit of everything. So my goal was, okay, so today I was going to go, the kids have mass today, and I was going to go to their school mass with them because I try to go every once in a while to see them. And it works out great when they have like an award show or something because they do it like right before mass, and so they have the awards and all that. Well, I needed to go because I needed to pay stuff to the church for the wedding. And then I also needed to schedule my first confession. I know. So we have confession. We're actually very lucky. We have confession on Saturday mornings at the church. And there's like 4 priests that do it. So it goes pretty quick. But my teacher recommended, because it's my first, he recommended that I make an appointment with the priest so that I could take my time, so that I didn't get nervous, so that he could, help me, like kind of walk me through it because it's the first one. And so I was like, yeah, he's like, I would recommend it, but I needed to do it before, I have to do it before the wedding. And really, Tony also needs to do it before the wedding as well because he hasn't done it
Oh,
in a long time.
that's a part of the sacrament of holy matrimony.
Yes.
Ooh.
So, so I talked to Tony last night when I came back from my class, and he's like, "Yeah, I haven't done confession since about 6 months out of high school." I was like,
Oh.
"Tony,
Okay.
oh my gosh!"
So I am not Catholic, so I don't know how often you should be going, but I do assume you should be going more often than that.
They suggest you should at least go once a year. Twice a year would
Okay.
be good, but at least once a year you should go.
Okay.
So
So
I'm
he's got a
like,
lot.
he's got a lot. I'm like, that's a whole lot of sins you need to confess, buddy. But I'm like, okay, well, he's going to go Saturday. And he's like, I don't want to see them. I don't want to go face to face. I'm like, I'll be
Oh,
fine.
so okay. So you're not going to be in a confessional. You're going to be, what is the confessional thing called? Like
Oh,
the
like the
thing that you go
actual,
into.
I have
Yeah.
no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what it's called. I'll have to find out.
Um,
I'll
so
look.
you will not be in that. You will be at
I don't know if I'm in his
with the
office
priest.
or if I'm in the church with him, but it'll be face to face.
Okay.
Um,
Do you don't mind that, do you?
I really don't. I really
Yeah.
don't. I don't.
Yeah. I don't think I
Um,
would either.
and so I'm just like, okay, so I had to do all those things. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to mass. I'll knock the stuff out with the office, schedule my, my confession, and I'll get to see the kids and do mass with them. And I didn't go on Sunday because I worked on Sunday. So it was like, I needed to go. I really needed to go. Actually, it had been 2 weeks since I had gone because the week before we were in Fresno, and
Oh.
I felt like it had been a long time. So we go to so a couple of the moms, and one of the moms I had, she helped me out. She referred me to someone, to a
Oh.
client that I just had. And I had told her, I said, thank you so much for referring me and giving them my number. And I would like to take you out to lunch. And
Aw.
anyway, we were just meeting for coffee, and there was like 3 of us meeting for coffee. So we go to Starbucks and we're like, let's just meet for coffee before mass and then we'll all go to mass. So we meet for coffee, and we're talking all school things, all mom things, all whatever. And one of the moms pulls up in her car, and she's like, hey, and we're like, oh, hi, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm just picking up my coffee, whatever. And she has 3 kids. 2 are at the school, and then 1 is younger. He'll
So you guys
start.
didn't invite her? Rude. Oh, just kidding.
I know, sorry. But it wasn't, I mean, she's a really nice lady. So anyway, we're like talking and talking, and maybe 10 minutes go by, and one of the moms goes, um, is she locked out of her car? She's like this
No.
in the window looking in the passenger side. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. And she's like, we're kind of looking, and we're like, should we go help her? Like, what's going on? And then so we wait a few minutes. She comes back in, and they're like, hey, is everything okay? Like, did you get locked out of your car? And she goes, yeah, her little one locked the car, and the keys were inside, and
So
he
the kid's in the car.
kid's in the car, and he won't open it.
Oh.
And
How old is this one?
he's like 2.5, maybe 3.
Oh no. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Harder to reason with.
He's a little, he looks like he's like 4, but
Oh.
he's just real tall. But she's like, he won't open it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So she goes, I go, do you want to use like a phone? Like, do you want one of our phones? She's like, yeah. So I had my phone out. So I hand her my phone, and she's like, and I was like, oh, I'm from a 559 number. You got to dial, you know? She's like, oh, all right. And then she tries another phone, and she's like, no. She's like, my husband's out of town for work. My sister has her phone on silent. She's like, oh my goodness. She's like, I don't know what to do. Like, he will not open the door for me. And we're like, I'm like, do you have AAA? And she's like, no. And she's like, I don't know. One of the moms goes, the only other thing is you call the fire department, but they're going to break your window. And I was like, well, I was like, do you want one of us to drive you home to get, like, do you have a spare key that you can get? And then someone will
can
stay.
stay with the car.
Yeah, we all have our cars there, you know. Someone
Yeah.
can stay with the son, and then one of us can drive you. And she's like, no.
Oh, I feel like I would be like, yeah, let's do that.
She's like, let me go try again. She's like, and then someone's like, bribe him. And she goes, I told him, like, I have your muffin or whatever. And
Oh, I would have been like, I'll get you ice cream.
well, so I go, maybe I should buy a cake pop, and then she can show him the cake pop. So I buy a cake pop. I take it out to her. So she's like trying to get him. She's like, look what I have. If you open the door, you can get a cake pop. And it's like 8 a.m, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
like a few minutes go by. She comes back in. She's like, I cannot believe this is happening. I cannot believe this is happening. And I go, he's not going to open it. And she goes, no. She goes, he's not going to open it. She goes, he got pissed because I didn't bring him inside the Starbucks with me. And so she goes, and she goes, and he's done this before, and I usually crack my window, and I didn't. Because I just didn't think he was going to do it. She goes, I just didn't think.
I would just keep my keys with me if you've done it before.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. So I go, do you want one of us? She goes, yes. She goes, actually, yeah. If someone can drive me home, I'll grab the spare. Someone can stay with him. I go, that's fine. So she hops in my car, and luckily she doesn't live far, but we drive up to her house, get the key. She's like, my housekeeper is here, but she goes, I don't know her number. Like,
Gosh. Yeah.
off the top of my head without my phone. So
Yeah.
that didn't do me any good. So she grabs her key, comes back, and opens the door, and everything is fine. But she's like, I just cannot. She's like, thank you so much. I mean, it was actually like we had really good conversation, you know?
Yeah.
But I was
that's
just
nice.
like, oh my gosh, what a flippin' morning.
But thank goodness you guys were there for coffee. Imagine if it was like tomorrow and you guys weren't meeting. Then what?
Yeah. Well, and she kept saying that. She's like, I am just so grateful you guys were there. I am so grateful you guys were there. I don't know what I would have done. She's like, it was ridiculous. So, so then we go to Mass. I went to Mass, and then I came home and tried to get some work done as much as I could because I had to go back to the school to work in Danny's class. And yeah, and then work was just it was work, so
Yeah.
it had been a day. I'm trying to like recoup. My house is like upside down still from like my last 2 weeks basically of life.
Yeah.
And um I mean, it's just been nonstop around here. So and then today I'm trying to like get the catering done for next weekend. I'm trying to like find the centerpieces that I'm using for, outside. And there's just
Are you going to share these things with us?
share what?
Like what? Oh, this is the centerpiece I found or anything? Because like I have not seen anything. Nancy was like, "What do you think about this dress?" I was like, "Oh, it's really cute." And she's like, "But is it going to clash with Priscilla's stuff?" I'm like, "Honestly, I don't know." I know she says the church is going to have like it's already going to have purple up because Easter's already, it's going to be in there. And she goes, "Okay, but what about after?" I'm like, "I don't know because Priscilla's not telling me. She's not telling us anything.
What's there to tell? It's just
I
a
want to see
little,
centerpieces. I want to see.
well,
I want to
I
see
didn't
what kind of stuff you're doing."
I didn't have anything until today, pretty much.
The
I was
last time you got married, we had a Pinterest board, and I'm just
I know.
saying.
So originally I was going to go with like these little clear, just like, remember oh, well, you weren't here, so you wouldn't know the vases that I had for George's birthday party. Yep.
Okay, don't hold crutches like Georgia. Okay, it's not my fault. It's Jason's fault.
I was like, I'm
You
just
better
going to,
tell him to stay well for the next week.
yeah, seriously, old man, grandpa.
Yeah, I should
Um,
start pumping him with vitamins right now.
yeah. I was just gonna, I mean, but they're so like they're little. They're like like they're little, and the tables are rounds, and I'm like, it's gonna look janky if I just put that tiny little thing. Even if I have wine and it's gonna look janky. It's too small. So I'm like, okay, what am I gonna find? I found some. So there was a gal selling some like the tall gold like flower holders, like where they're just like the outside, right? So the inside is shell, like it's open, and the
Okay.
flowers would sit like right on top, and then you could put like I don't know, something on the bottom or whatever. You know what I'm talking
Okay.
about?
I think so.
Okay. Anyway, she was selling like 10 of them for $60, which really wasn't bad, and I was going to. But I've been so like uneasy about meeting people here on Facebook. I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know why.
because you just don't know the areas the same way
Yeah.
you did back here. It's
Yeah.
just going to take time.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, and then I was looking, then I go, well, you know what? Maybe I'll just, and then I thought, well, if I do like more of a gold goblet, little vase, then I can
Hmm.
put flowers in that, and that would be pretty. Um, and so I was like, before I buy anything on Amazon, let me just go to Hobby Lobby and look. And so I did pick up some things. It's not everything. I'll probably have to order 2 goblets, but they'll all kind of be different, but they'll all be
Yeah.
gold, basically.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I was just trying to figure out little things and
What
what I
about
was doing.
linens? What are your plans with that kind of stuff?
White linens.
Okay. And
Everybody better not stain all my linens either, because my linens,
are
we're
for
having,
work.
yeah, and we're having
Oh, and
pasta.
we're having pasta.
Uh-huh.
Well, I won't be eating the pasta, so I will not be injuring your stuff. Now, I will try to hold my children accountable though, and we'll make them scrub the heck out of it.
Well, I was laughing because Nancy this weekend was like, "You need to send or Molly, you haven't sent me the invitation or whatever." I thought she was just giving her a hard time, and then like Sunday afternoon or evening, she sends me a text and she's like, "P, please send me the invite." And I'm like,
I don't know why she didn't just ask me to send it to her.
"Okay," but I was like, "Well, what does it matter? You're going to be here like all weekend. Like, what do
Yeah,
you need to
yeah.
make the time
Well,
for?"
maybe she was hoping to get like a feel of what you're.
Well, she goes, "This doesn't help. I was hoping this would help me figure out my outfit."
That's what I was gonna say, you can kind of get a vibe off of it, like, oh, okay, maybe this. Yeah. So funny.
Yeah, it was funny. Um, I have a really good little friend here that's getting me a good hookup with some stuff, so that'll be good.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Is
Um,
she from the kids' school or
hmm.
elsewhere?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But no, it's just been busy, blah 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 blah, like life, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Shut up, Priscilla.
No.
How have you been?
I've been pretty normal, pretty okay. Today, before we started recording,
Recruiter.
um, before we started recording, I was ready to um, just destroy pretty much everything in my house. Everything was getting on my nerves. I'm about to start my period. So, yes, you're welcome, male listeners. Um,
Ditto.
it's that
Ditto.
time. And so,
Cycle sisters.
yes. We're gonna need to make a little clip with that. I love it. But it's like, when you're about to start and you drop everything, everything falls. It's just like nothing can be just normal easy, right?
Hmm.
So I'm like trying to move some things in the office because Jason's behind Jason's desk. It drives me crazy. So I'm like moving some things and everything starts falling over, like all over. And then I move something by my desk and my notebook starts falling, my Bible starts falling. I've like my pictures start falling, everything starts falling. I was going nuts. So I'm just excited that I'm gonna get to sleep shortly after we're done, and I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be dealing with anything like that.
Oh my gosh.
Because then earlier, oh, I was so angry. So when you guys came and we told you there's that dog next door that's probably looking at it a little closer, maybe it's more like Millie size.
And these are new neighbors.
These are new neighbors. I've never talked to them. Our girlfriend that lives across the street from me, she has talked to them, but I've never
She
talked to
talks to
them.
everybody though, so
Yes,
yeah.
she does. She talks to everyone. Almost wonder if she's mentioned to them their dog barking because shortly after you guys were here, when the dog would bark, they would come out and they'd be like, "Get inside. What are you doing? Don't bark at them." Like stuff like that. And so I'm like,
Oh, maybe they heard us
okay.
talking in the backyard about
Or
them.
that, which that's fine too.
Yeah.
So that's great. My dogs are I do not have like trained dogs. They're not I'm not going to say like, oh, I have good dogs or anything like that. They're just little mutts that they're potty trained, right? Like they're trained in that way, but you come over, they're going to jump all over you. I'm pretty sure that River is has ADD. He's like super high strung, has anxiety. I'm pretty certain. He actually has to take the medication that I take for my nerves. He has to take in order to go to the vet. Um, so that he'll calm down because he's just like too wired up. So they're not like great dogs, but they will go outside. They'll go to the bathroom. Sometimes they'll go to the bathroom in spots that they're not supposed to, but most of the time, especially like, because I always tell them, go all the way, go all the way. They need to go down the side of the house to their area. Well,
I thought you meant you were telling him like, don't stop going, go all the way, like get it all out,
get
get
it all out.
every
You need
last
to
drop.
milk it.
Yeah.
No, no. Just like get all the way down the side of the yard to your little fake lawn area. Um, So since this dog has been in, their dog has access to the full yard. My dogs only have access to that part of the yard. Because again, I don't have great dogs. So before, maybe now they'd be okay. No, I wouldn't trust River not to pee
Mm-mm.
on the legs of my furniture, actually, to be honest.
Mm-mm.
But I was more worried about chewing back when they were younger. But anywho, so now they need to go all the way. These dogs have full access, so they go down that side of their yard too. And this dog will bark, bark, bark. I have little crybaby dogs. Like, they're scared of the dogs. Truly is a little bit better. She's not as big of a wuss as River, but River, like, as soon as the dog barks, he like stops in his tracks. He does not want to go any further. It's so frustrating. Normally, I don't care if somebody's dog is barking. Dogs bark, whatever. Not a big deal. I don't really care. This dog, it's affecting my, like, River started to pee on the mat by the back door today before we like,
Oh no.
yes, I was like making dinner, or I was talking to Hayden and Nancy actually, and I look over and I'm like, because I could hear him start to pee. But because he's like so scared that he won't go out there, like he doesn't even want to go into the backyard anymore. Like, not that he
Oh.
doesn't just want to go down the side of the yard where they're supposed to go. He doesn't want to go into the backyard at all. We have tried everything, Priscilla. Like, and I don't want to be mean to a dog, but I'm like, I'm sick and tired of this dog. Okay. We had this little thing hung up on our fence right in that area so that when the dog barks, it makes like a high pitch, like a high frequency noise that the dogs hear. Doesn't do anything for that dog. My dog's probably paying for that dog being an a-hole. I'm not saying my dogs wouldn't bark if they were outside, but I would just bring my dogs in. You know what I mean? Like, my dogs do bark and it annoys me, but I also have something to, like, I have one of those high pitched noise makers, so they'll stop barking. But um we've had that. I've tried, like, I would squirt it with canned air, trying to get it to stop that way. Squirt it with water, try to get it to stop that way. Nothing. So today, after River peed, I was like, Hayden, go to the store. I need you to buy this for me. So I got an air horn. And the dog does not like the air horn. The only problem is when I'm out there, like, it's just me, the dog won't bark. And that's when I want to get it. Like, I want to get it to bark, do that
Right.
so that it knows, like, stop barking. But it will only bark when my dogs are out there with me. And so I'm like, if I'm doing it, then I'm punishing my dogs. And then my dogs don't want to go. Like, I'm standing right by the fence, so I can do it right at the fence. It's driving me crazy. I don't know what to do because I'm like, how do I get this freaking dog to stop? Like, I need my dogs to be able to go outside.
So, does the dog only bark when your dogs are out?
So no, it will bark. Like, Jason went out earlier and it was barking at Jason until Jason was like using the what is, okay, words disappearing, the thing that you, a leaf blower. Okay, so he's like blowing the little pebbles off the pavers and whatnot, right? So he's using that. The dog doesn't like that, so it won't like that. But my dogs don't like that either, so I can't use that on that dog and get
Yeah.
my dogs to come outside because they don't want to be by that. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just, I need it to bark when it's just me out there. Like, and I would be like, shut up, stop, shut up, like hoping the owners will hear. But the last few days, they've not been taking the dog in when the dog starts barking, and it's driving me nuts.
So, do you leave your dogs outside for long normally? Don't you just take
No.
them out to pee and that's it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not like they're out there
Yeah.
just hanging out and the dog comes out and then they get scared. It's like they're only going outside, in the backyard to go pee. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's driving me. I don't know what to do. I keep like researching. So if anyone has any tips, anything that I can do to get a neighbor's dog to stop, I'm like, oh my gosh, everything I can do that will get that dog to stop is going to negatively impact my dogs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what happened before we started recording, and I was like, "Oh, I am so done with this dog." And I'm pretty sure I think my sister knows these new neighbors. I think the guy that lives there is my sister's coworker.
Oh, really?
Mhm. Yeah. So, based on what Maul said, like where he works, I'm pretty certain my sister knows him. So I'm like, I'm like this close to telling my sister, I am gonna need you to help me out because I don't know. And I haven't got, I mean, in their defense, I haven't gone over to talk to them,
I was just
but
gonna say,
I
maybe you
also
should
feel like,
introduce yourself, kind of talk about it.
yeah, I don't know. I've had somebody come over with my other dogs and they made like a whole stink because my other dogs did used to go outside. Like, they would be in the backyard often. Um, and they made like a huge stink about it. And it's like, Okay, my dog, first of all, my dog's not even outside at night. I don't know what you're talking about. Like she was saying, my husband can't sleep, like because he was a mailman. He was terrified of dogs or whatever. Okay, got traumatized. Okay, my little 15-pound dog was gonna get him. Okay, she literally said he had to sleep in the closet. I'm like, my dog is inside at night. What are you talking about? I don't know
Well,
what to tell you.
okay, but I think you can talk to your neighbor without I mean, you're not going to make a big stink about it. You're not trying to make a big stink about it. But before it escalates and gets worse, you should just talk to them. Just go next door and introduce yourself and then just, hey, not to make a big stink of it, but you know,
Yeah.
because too, I mean, it doesn't sound like, from what I've heard so far about these people, it doesn't sound like they're like total jerks, but
No.
who knows? Things could escalate if they find out that you're blowing the horn to get their dog to shut up or whatever. They might tell you like, what the fuck are you doing to my dog? You know what I mean?
Then
Like,
I'll be like, I'm trying to terrorize your dog the way your dog terrorizes mine.
so before it gets bad, maybe you should have a conversation with them.
The thing is it's just like I honestly I don't know what they could do aside from keeping their dog inside. And obviously their dogs aren't inside dogs.
Well, they could put a shock collar on them.
But I feel like I mean, it's not like I would make a suggestion of what to do. Like that lady literally told me, they
No,
do a
no.
surgery.
Yeah, no, but at least if you brought it to their attention, it's not like, if they decide to not do anything about it, then you keep trying to do whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But at least if they are aware of it, they may try something to stop it.
Yeah, me. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that would be better because I'm thinking like, what am I gonna do? Go over there and tell them, hey, can you get something for your dog? But I know not everyone's okay with a shock collar. I am. I'll shock the crap out of my dog if I have to. Like, I mean, I don't have well-behaved dogs, so if they're being a menace, I would do, whatever I needed to. But
Ashley, your dogs are like hamsters. All they do is just lay in their crate and then get
I
excited.
know, but that's what it is. They get excited, they start jumping all over everyone, they'll bark, and truly, oh my gosh, when the doorbell gets rang, she makes the most annoying noise. It's like a crying bark. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. It makes me dislike her when she does
Well,
it.
you did buy at the top of the pedigree with them.
When they can't tell you what the dog is and,
Right about now is when we need to enter a clip of Truly and River's face. Right here,
or
please.
their whole body so you can see that River took half of Truly's legs
Oh my
and
gosh.
I saw dogs at my work. There were three strays that came walking toward me and my coworker when we were talking today after work, and one of them looked like River, not as long of legs but quite long, and then the other one looked like Truly's body type but it was brown like River. I'm like, one of these could be River's dad. I don't know.
Yep,
One of them could be River's. You know how dogs can have more than one baby daddy at a
yep,
time?
yep.
Yeah, they those could have been. They were all boys.
23 and Me. You could have been like Tony's sister and 23 and Me, her dog.
Um, don't judge her because I have contemplated it a lot. The only problem is that my kids want to do 23andMe, and I can't bring myself to do it for my dogs first. So I haven't done it. But I am curious because what in the heck are they?
They're
I mean, I
mutts.
know they're mutts, but what kind of mutts? Also,
Terrier.
really, part of the reason that I want to is I want to see if it would be able to tell me if they are actually related.
Oh,
What
okay.
if they just happen to be two young pups
At the
and they
shelter at
aren't
the
really
same time.
related? I do
Yeah,
feel like they have similar looks, but they're dogs.
yeah,
Like they
yeah,
look like those stray dogs too. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. So that's how my day went.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. We'll keep on keeping on.
segment music by Callie Grace. For more of Callie Grace's hits, follow Callie Grace on iTunes and Spotify today.
Hey guys, we're back.
Hey.
Okay, and Grandma Ashley over there has some super exciting news to share.
Yes, very excited. So yesterday, Deja had her doctor's appointment, and they had their gender revealed to them. They didn't do a gender reveal yet. That's happening this weekend, but since we pre-record, I'm allowed to say it here. So we are going to have a grandson. Very exciting. Which it's perfect. Kyla told her, good. I feel like you're gonna be the boy mom, and I'll be the girl mom, which it's good because then you can teach it like sports and stuff.
Oh, I wanted to do this when you said boy. Did it go?
Woo! Yes, it did. Yes, little boy. And you have not heard yet, but Deja also, which I've known for a while. They had already decided on names, whether it was a girl or a boy, and I already knew the names. But Deja wanted to surprise her father because he is going to be Romeo Jason Tepetate Renteria. 2 last names. Tepetate is not a middle name.
We're going to drop that. We're just going to call him Romeo Jason.
Romeo Jason. So we'll probably call him RJ. But yeah, Romeo Jason after Grandpa. So she told him yesterday.
That's cute. Tony wondered. Tony goes, well, maybe he'll have Jason's namesake.
Yeah, I know he did mention that. And so that's why I was like, I haven't seen if Jason responded. But yeah, I guess yesterday when Jason had told you guys was it yesterday? It was, right? Yeah. Or the day before. It was the day before.
Yeah.
So the day before, and Jason didn't find out his name until yesterday because Deja was like trying to figure out a cute way to tell him. But she is just like so excited and impatient. She hates to hold on to information. So she was like, I think I'm just gonna tell, like, I don't think I can wait. I think I'm just gonna tell Dad. I was like, he's not here, so I'm not gonna be able to see his like reaction. So she was like, well, are one of the boys home? I can like do a 3-way FaceTime. So I was like, yes, Hayden's home. So we got off of, my duoing with her, and then we were FaceTiming. She called Jason, added him in. So I got to see his reaction.
And what was his reaction?
His reaction was he like smiled and he was like, oh, okay. Like, I think he was caught off guard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he
Well,
expected
Jason
it.
doesn't like exude emotions right
Yes.
away. It like
Well,
they slowly come out of his pores, his eyes, his whatever, his
Yeah.
throat.
Yeah. When the baby's born, I think it'll be a different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely not the emotional type. He has gotten more emotional as he's getting older, but he's definitely not very emotional. And she goes, after she told him, she goes, yeah, and I'm telling you now because it's soon enough that if you don't cry, I can change it. I'm like,
What's the name Romeo from?
she just likes the name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She just, loves the name. So, yeah, very exciting.
Wow.
I'm super excited. So, and of course, Jason tells him, he's like, oh, perfect. Now that we know it's a boy, I'm going to order him a Trump onesie, blah, blah, blah. Like, Deja's like, oh gosh. And then Oliver's like, we'll make sure to frame it. So, yeah, I don't know if he's actually ordered it yet, but yeah, I'm very excited that he knows now because now I can start getting things with his name on it, Can you hear my
Yes.
husband in
Yes.
the kitchen?
Yes.
I hope that sometimes I hear noises, but it doesn't like feed into the audio. So I hope that's the case. Otherwise, you guys, I'm sorry that my husband's so inconsiderate of our recording.
Damn grandpa.
So that's the problem. He's turning into a grandpa, probably losing his hearing, doesn't even realize it's making noise.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You said that with your hand and you look just like your mom right now. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny. Um, so yeah, that was my exciting news yesterday. We got to tell Jason. So super excited about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Um, so I feel like there was something else I was going to mention when we came back, and now I can't recall. But I'm really sorry, you guys. I can hear my husband really loud, so I do apologize for that.
I don't know, but yeah, I got to tell you about, okay, first of all, I think it's a cruel joke that I only have girls and no boys because
Why?
they just are such little beesies. Okay, so there's two things. One, Danny is like on fuego right now. She's just got
Oh,
like a bunch of things going on in her life. I swear. Like at 5 years old, she has just got so much going on in her life. Georgia right now is like going through like early teenage years. Like she is 7, and I'm like, okay, control the attitude, watch the face, watch the tone. And she will apologize pretty quickly, usually. But I'm like, you need to back this up. Like, you're not even a teenager yet. Why? You're 7. Why? Why?
maybe she's getting all of this out early. Hopefully, it won't um
I hope
carry on.
so. I hope so. And she's asking so many questions. Like tonight at dinner, do you know what our conversation was? And
I'd love to know.
Tony's like, can we change the subject? She's
Please
like,
no.
she's like, when Max, that was our dog, when Max died, how come we didn't have a funeral for him? I said, well, because we didn't bury Max, and she's like, what? And I go, we didn't bury him. We have his ashes. Like we have him still with us. And she's like, what does that mean? What what are ashes? And I said, well, or Tony said, I think Tony goes, well, he was cremated. And she's like, well, what does that mean? So we start talking about being buried versus cremation.
Did
And
she get upset?
no,
Oh, good.
I was
Good.
really trying to word it like I wasn't trying to say, they put your fucking body into the fire and fucking light that shit on fire. You know what I mean? I
Just
was,
in a cardboard box. They just toss you in there naked in a cardboard box.
yeah, just fucking throw you in there and you're all,
Why
you
even a
know,
cardboard box? I don't know that everywhere requires that. In California, it's required. You know that?
I did not know that.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was
I
like,
don't want a cardboard box. Cremate me in Nevada.
but I was like, I'm like, well, when I'm like trying to explain, like when they bury you, they preserve your body for the ground. They get it ready to go into the ground and you become one with the ground. And the other way in cremation, they what they do is you basically they turn the body into the ground, and so it's like you're the ground already. And sometimes people go in pretty vases, sometimes they go in necklaces, sometimes they get spread over oceans,
Oh, she knows
sometimes
about the
they get
necklaces.
buried. Yeah, sometimes they get buried. And so she was like, so like so and so and so and so, and I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, yes. And she's like, okay. And then she's like, do all old people have wills? And I go, no, they should.
What?
They should have wills, but no, they don't have. Not everyone does. They should. I said it's very important, and it's not just important for old people. It's important for all people, especially once you start working and you buy a house and you have kids or you have things, you get married. It's important for you to have a will so that if anything happens any time in your life, people know where your stuff is supposed to go and who's supposed to be responsible for certain things. And so did, Aunt Aggie have a will? I said, yes, she did. And she goes, well, who got her things? I said, Nina did, her daughter. And she's like, does so-and-so have, I mean, she just kept going. And I was like, okay. And Tony's like, let's change the subject. I mean, he does not, he is so uncomfortable with that kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, maybe not at the dinner table, Georgia. I think slowly let's have those
Yeah.
conversations. But she's so curious. She wants to know about all the things. Like she's just like, her mind is working like double time right now. Then you have
Yeah.
Danny. So, we recorded after Valentine's Day, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And I think we talked about Tony, like Danny asking like if she could have two Valentine's Day, if she could have two Valentines.
We did not talk about that.
Okay. So so for Valentine's Day, Tony is very sweet and he got us all
So
flowers.
cute.
And he wrote us all cards for Valentine's Day, and he always asks, and I know he does it because his mom used to do it to them, to all of them.
Oh.
He asks them, "Will you be my Valentine?" And so Danny reads her card, and I mean, everything is so sweet. And Danny looks, and she's getting ready for school, and she goes, "So if I say yes, can I have two?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Well, what if someone asked me to be their Valentine's Day at school?" And I go, "Danny." And earlier, this was like a day or two before, I had heard Georgia mention a little boy's name and say, "Oh, Danny, I know you have a crush on him." And I said, "Excuse me, we don't have crushes on people. We're like 5 years old. Like, no, 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 no." And Tony goes, "Oh, yeah, Paul." She wrote his name in her diary, Pol.
Paul.
Pool. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I go, okay, well, no, Danny, don't worry about that. Your dad is your Valentine, blah, 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 blah. And so George is like, well, my friends are going to all be my Valentine. Like George is like all about like girl gang, whatever.
Yeah.
So I get to the school, I set up for the parties, I'm doing whatever, and they come in from recess, and one of the student teachers goes, your daughter. And I'm like, what did she do? She's like, I told her to keep her hands to herself. And I'm like, oh, Paul? And she goes, no, Ralphie. I go, what? I go, what do you mean? She goes, well, they were holding hands. And I said, you guys need to keep your hands to yourself. And she goes, but he's my Valentine. And I go, are you kidding me? She goes, no. She goes, she was smitten. And so they come in and I go, Danny. And she goes, well, he asked me. And I said, Danny, I thought you liked Paul. She goes, well, Paul didn't ask me. Ralphie did. I go,
I have to warn you because Kyla was our little boy crazy girl. Like, from that little, she was always, I mean, now she keeps everything, quiet.
yeah.
But back then, I mean, in high school, junior high, oh, boy crazy. Like, yeah, big time.
Well,
Be careful.
I know that today, well, and I always think like she's so good with boys because she has all boy cousins and
Yeah.
she's not afraid to like play. Like she wants to play. She doesn't like just want to be prissy and sit on the sidelines. Like Georgia would be like, I'm going to get my hair messed up, and Danny would be like, let's go hang from a tree. Like, let's do it. But today when I was taking that mom to her car, she goes, oh yeah, she said her son told her, oh, Danny's my girlfriend. And I go, well, he better
Is that
get in.
Ralphie's mom?
No, a different boy. I go, well, he better
Not
get
even
in
Paul.
line. I go, he better get in line because there's a suitor. There's all kinds of little boys lined up. I go, I don't know who stepped in whose line. I don't know if she put him in line. I don't know. I'm just saying. I go, oh my gosh, Danny. And then another mom, my friend, and she goes, oh my gosh, she goes, her little boy comes home and she goes, he always talks about Danny. And he's like, she's my friend. She calms me down when I feel crazy. And and I love her so much. And I'm like,
Oh man.
oh my
See,
goodness,
you're gonna be in trouble.
we are in kindergarten. But I do think she's okay on another level. She's also, I think, going through a growth spurt. She has been, I text my girlfriend, I'm like, okay, she's freaking so emotional, so moody. I mean, she's either like you could ask Nancy from this weekend. I was
Oh,
embarrassed
you were?
because she like acted out, and I was like, where is that coming from? Like, you don't act like that. Like, she was being a brat. I sent her to her
Oh.
room and she fell asleep. She fell asleep in the middle of the day. Well, um, the last 2 days we come on our way home from school, she falls asleep in the car. And she's eating like crazy. She's growing out of all her stuff. And I'm like, she must be going through a growth spurt. But I'm like, it's like an asshole growth spurt. And
Well,
my
I mean, there's all those changes in her body. Yeah.
well, my friend goes, I must be going through a growth spurt too because I'm really tired and hungry and I'm growing too.
Me too. Join the club. That's what I will just call it, growth spurt.
Yeah.
I just grow this way instead of this way. That's all. Oh my goodness. So that I did not know about. First of all, we did not record after Valentine's Day, so I think maybe that's why we haven't discussed that.
Okay.
But I didn't know there were even more boys in the line
Oh yeah.
aside from Paul and Ralphie.
Yep. Yep. Other
And
boys in line.
isn't there, or no, that's Georgia's class that there's only like 4 boys.
Yeah, it's Georgia's. It's
Okay.
a pretty good mix in Danny's.
Okay. Well, then that just means like 12 boyfriends.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. I cannot wait for that girl's birthday party.
She's wild, that one. And she, she's always been that way. Like,
Yeah.
walks on campus, like, hey, everyone, I'm
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
party over
Hey,
here.
potato. Bye, potato. Oh my goodness. Well, that's funny that you mentioned that because Nancy was like, "Oh my goodness, Danny was so sassy." Like she didn't say anything. Like just I was like, "Oh yeah, that's Danny." And she was like, "Yeah." And Priscilla's like, "I don't know where she gets it." I'm like, "Priscilla, who's sassy in your house?"
Not like
But
that, my goodness.
I think you handle your emotions better than,
Then a
kids
5-year-old.
don't. Yeah, kids don't know
That's
how to
good.
handle that.
That's good. I know.
Glad that I'm better than a 5-year-old.
My husband did tell me yesterday. He called me. I was getting okay. To be fair, sometimes I know you guys don't get grossed out, but I work out early in the mornings, and then I finish, and then I take the kids to school, and sometimes I try to get an extra workout in at lunchtime, so I don't shower. So I'll just come home, start working, and then the day kind of sometimes gets away from me, and either I'll do another workout and then shower, or if I know I'm running too close on time, I'll just go shower after I've worked for a little bit. Well, he calls me, and he doesn't call me very often. So I'm getting out of
Was
the
he trying to have a nooner with you?
no, I was just like,
Oh.
what's going on? So I like hurry up, finish in the shower, jump out, and I'm like, hello? And he's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, showering? Why? What's going on? He's like, I'm just calling to say hi. I'm like, okay. He's like, oh, great talking to you too. And I'm like, well, you don't usually call me. And I was just trying to like run out of the shower because I thought something happened or
Yeah,
whatever. And
yeah.
he's like, well, I just was leaving for lunch and I thought I would call you. I'm like, okay, all right. And he's like, okay. And I go,
Won't be doing that again.
okay, all right. He's like, all right, bye. So I hang up and then he texts me later and he's like, oh, you're about to start your period. That's why you're so mean right now.
Which it's so true. I need to pay attention to that when I'm like that with Jason because he travels a lot. So, and I normally only shower at night. So sometimes I'm showering and I listen to podcasts or like I'll listen to a TV show or something like that when I'm in the shower. I know it's pathetic. It's not like I'm taking long, long showers. It's just that I need something happening. I don't know. I require like my brain to be really
Stimulation.
focused on something. Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want it to sound naughty because I was talking about being in the shower. But sometimes he'll call and then it interrupts my phone because it'll pop up his call, which I can answer on my shower speaker. But then once I hang up, my thing won't replay, and I get
Oh, yeah.
so frustrated. And I know it's so mean to do that. Like I should be thankful that he's calling and he wants to talk to me, but instead I'm just annoyed
Yeah.
and bothered. Especially like one time I told him like, "Hey, call me when you're done or whatever." And then I was like, "You know what? Actually, I'm going to get in the shower. I'll check to see where you're at when I'm done and I'll call you." And then I get in the shower, not joking, 3 minutes into my shower, he freaking calls. And I'm like, "Hey." He's like, "You in the shower?" I'm like, "Yeah, because that's why I texted you. I'll call you when I'm done." So annoyed. But why does that annoy me so much?
I
Like
don't know. I don't know.
why am I a jerk? Why
Well,
why
I'm like,
can't I
what?
just be like, "Hey, I love
How's
you.
your
Thanks for
day?
wanting to
I
talk
don't
to me."
know.
Instead I'm
Yeah.
just like, you well, it's hard for him to hear too on this, like, the water's
Oh.
running and all of that. So it's not like it's a good conversation. So that's also annoying because he's like, "Huh? I can't hear you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. That's why I said I'll call you later. And I also want to listen to my podcast, so don't interrupt it." I don't know. I'm not as nice as you say I am.
You are very nice. Nice.
No.
Way. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
nicer than you, but not nice because why don't I appreciate my husband calling me? Rude. That's
Because our
rude.
husbands can be annoying sometimes. It's because you know why? It's because it doesn't fit into, oops, sorry, it doesn't fit into our box at the moment. And so it's like, you're kind of messing with my schedule right now that I have and what I'm
Yeah.
doing, you know? And so let me get through this, let me do this. And you're kind of messing that up. So no, I totally get it. I will say that was it last night or the night before? I can't remember. One of those nights, I really did think I was like in my car and I was like driving and I'm like, you know, I have a really good husband. I have a really good husband. And I'm really grateful that I do because, oh, it was last night because there were some things. Yeah, yeah, it was last night. But I'm just like, he overall is great. It's just everyone's going to be annoyed with everyone, right? You have to live the rest
Yeah.
of your life with one person. You're bound to
Yeah.
get on each other's nerves.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I feel like sometimes I think about it like, gosh, like he could totally not want to talk to me at all and never call when he's out of town.
Yeah.
Like
But then you guys
he
probably wouldn't have really been married because that's not your
I know, but
style.
why am I mean then when he calls, or like why do I get annoyed? Like I just think like, or what if something happens to him and then instead of talking to him, I'm over here annoyed. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think things like that. Like you should, talking to myself, I should be appreciative of this. I should take that time and enjoy it and not be like, "What do you like? Yeah, what's going okay." Like cool story, or you know what I mean? Like sometimes, like you said, it's not in my box. And I would like to be more flexible, I
It's
guess.
like
I need
it's
to
like
learn how to be
every
flexible.
every time we're going somewhere and Tony gets dressed and he's like, and I'm trying to get ready. I'm the last one to get ready, and I only give myself about 10 minutes to do everything and try to look presentable. And he's like, what about this outfit? Like, does this look good? I'm like, yeah, it looks fine. What do you mean fine? Like, should I change my
Yeah, you sound like
shoes?
Jason.
I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't care. Just wear whatever you want to wear. Well, I'm asking you because I obviously want and I'm like, I don't, I don't fucking care what you wear. I don't. And then, but sometimes he will put something on. I'm like, don't wear that. And he's like, that's why I asked you. I'm like, okay, well, don't like make sure it like goes, but
He'd put stuff on that doesn't match, or he'd put stuff on that you're like, eh.
usually
You,
he has a problem. I mean, it's like a shoe. pants problem, I feel like.
Like they don't fit well together, or they
But,
don't look
I
good,
love
like colors don't look good.
I love my husband. He has sometimes he wears like the dorkiest shoes to me, but I love my husband so much. He's gonna get so mad when he hears this, but
I know this is where he's gonna be like, see, you guys are mean
you're
podcasters. You
mean.
and Ashley are mean
You're
podcasters.
mean. But I know a lot of it is just he's a big guy, so it's like dressing for him that doesn't look like baggy or sloppy or too
Yeah.
tight or too
Yeah, I know.
short or
I know
all
how
of
it
those
is.
things. But I was laughing because this morning when I was laying in bed at like 3:45 because he was fucking snoring and woke me up, and then I couldn't go back to sleep because I'm like, what's the point? I have to wake up in 20 minutes anyway. And I'm laying there on my phone while he's snoring, and then I finally I put my phone down and I laid there for a second, and then his alarm got up and he was getting ready for the gym, and I can hear him in the backyard. I can hear him in the bathroom, and he's like, I look like a dork.
Oh, poor Tony. You know what? It sucks. Actually, Linz and I were just talking about this because, the wedding's coming up. And so we're trying to, since we're not bridesmaids again, we have to figure out
Well,
what to wear.
You could have been a bridesmaid if you would have just fit back in the. Everyone had to wear their own dresses and their suits, the original dresses and original suits, or no one was in the wedding.
Well, I donated my dress to a charity.
Oh, don't give me that sob story.
I did, like a Cinderella thing or something like that. I forget what it's called. I don't remember. They for underprivileged kids for prom and stuff like that.
Okay, great. Make me feel
So
like an asshole now.
there'll be a little chubby girl in sequins. It's fine. Hopefully she gets a date. But I'll buy that. I'll buy the same dress. Okay. It'll just have to be bigger because I wouldn't fit into the same size. Anyway, but I was I was telling Liz, I was like, I just hate having to get dressed. I hate having to get dressed for something. I just wish I could. Why can't I just wear pajamas? And she was like, I want to wear pajamas too.
I want to wear pajamas too.
You shut up. I totally understand where Tony's coming from, and it sucks. And yeah, I know. I felt that way this weekend. I felt like really frumpy, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right.
So it's fine. It's fine that he wears dorky shoes. We have great husbands. They're amazing, and I need to be more flexible and appreciate him calling, even when it doesn't fit into my box at the time.
Yep, that's right.
That's my new goal for this year. I'm adding that one in.
Oh my goodness. Well, you're 3 months too late, but okay, keep going.
Well, it'll be like 9 months. It'll be almost like a baby. Perfect. By next year, it should be ready to go. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to our rants and raves.
Yeah, sorry. This is one of those special ones where
We just
just
have
had
random
to-
shit going on in our day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thanks so much, guys.
Thanks for swapping with us.